It's Maya Bliss. Welcome to our live Wednesday's Wisdom. And today's topic, we'll be talking about the spiritual lifestyle series, which we've been doing for a couple of weeks. And we're going to be talking today about yoga to declutter your body. And today we have Jessica with us, and Desiree will be away for a while. So she's doing some grounding and, self care stuff. So, welcome, Jessica.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right. How are you guys feeling today? How are
Hmm.
you both feeling?
Lots of emotions are flying around.
hmm
Yeah, yeah. Kind of overwhelming in moments when you really connect in.
hmm
Yeah, that's me today at least.
Yeah,
What
I've
about
had
you,
a lot of
Jessica?
I've got stuff going on in my legs, so cramping in my legs and some pain in my feet lately. So it's a lot of grounding for me. So I've been having to feel like I've got zaps in my feet. So I'm needing to ground a lot more. But yeah, very emotional and working with my emotional body for sure right now.
Hmm. I hear you on the feet and legs. I'm
Mhm.
always rubbing my feet,
Yeah.
stretching my feet, heating my feet with a heating pad. There's a lot of I feel like trapped energies there for me. So yeah, I hear you.
Maya's video that you did yesterday, Maya, with the putting your thumbs in the middle of the feet like
Yeah.
that was amazing. So that I've been doing that now, and just pushing into the center of the feet. And I was looking up, reflexology, and a lot of that center part is attached or connected to the solar plexus
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
and the intestines and everything. So it was like as I'm doing that, I could feel my stomach rumbling and everything kind of moving, and it just really helped with grounding. So that is really
That's
a
beautiful.
really good video. Thank you for
Thank
doing
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Yeah. Yeah, that's like a really good one for I would just say like right now that's a really good I mean working on the bottom of your soles and just pressing those energy points on the bottom of your feet. There's like
Mhm.
other ones on the feet too, but that one's like the main one that I use because like, it helps my leg chakra and my root chakra a lot.
that.
Mhm.
But but so this week I've been working on Earth Star and root chakra and primal primitive energy and all that root stuff. It's like all related to the root. And I mean today I did a little bit working on my root. So that's the energy that, I'm still releasing, and it just feels like on my lower back was super like it's sore, and I think it's been sore for a couple weeks, but then I was just like ignoring everything as usual. So so I just been ignoring it, and then I just realized today, I'm like, you know what? I need to remove dark material energy. Like I'm like, this is why, like, because like I'm noticing my habits, like, I'll eat well, and then all of a sudden I start slacking off, and I'm like, what this problem is? My body is connecting back to dark material energy. I'm like, okay, we gotta start moving this energy out of my root chakra system. Like it's probably not good for my root, but anyway, so that was my release today. Was just removing like heavy material, and I was connecting with my spiritual guides, and they're just like, you know what, that's what you need to release. Okay, you're gonna have to learn to let go and surrender some stuff that you really love, like, which is like, there's some sweet stuff, like it's just stuff that you need to surrender and move forward. But that's what my energy, and that's what my energy is at this point. I think I'm at the point where I'm shifting, I'm transitioning into a deeper journey. But then it's just like there are things that still, like material stuff that still holds me down.
hmm
So
Yeah, because you're still physical. So
yeah, yeah. I was Oh, I found this TikTok video of this guy, and he was doing this breath thing where he was just breathing, and he wasn't like eating food at all. He's like for a couple of years. And so I was like, so I started got that in my mindset today. I'm like, okay, this guy literally probably knows something. so like, so let's go back to that breath and go deeper. So that was something that I saw fascinating today.
yeah,
But But anyways, let's talk about the collectives. How is the collectives? Let's check in with the collectives. So right now, checking with the collectives, there's this sense of realization or seeing things for what it is what I'm saying. We see our pain and anger and frustration and our happiness. So we're seeing these range of emotions in our awakened state. And right now we can't deny these feelings. I mean, I'm seeing my own, like, even in my collectives, like my own collectives, that I'm seeing, like, I see my pain. I also see my own anger, and I'm transmuting some of that anger. I'm pretty sure everyone's going through the same thing. I
Yeah.
also see my own happiness. Like, this is like the strangest time for me, because like right now I see there's this hall where I'm falling down, but it's all my bullshit that I see. And I see all these beliefs and they're shredded, but for somehow, like, there's happiness. Like there's like this joy. So it's kind of like in how Kali is like, she has overcome the monster, and you're jumping on, like, you're jumping on, like, the all the skeletons and all the dead. And to me, it's like I feel that release because I'm so happy, I'm so in joy. And I think, like, some people are experiencing that too, which is like, there's this darkness inside of us, but we're free from this darkness. And we're starting to feel like the free, like, the, what do you call it, being free from the your own prison, your own bullshit. You're overcoming it, but it's slowly getting there. It's not like fully there, but it's just like this slow rise. So that's what I see in the collectives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you pretty much summed it all up from my experience.
What about
Yeah.
you, Jessica?
So I've noticed talking to people, and then just my personal, because what's going on with us personally typically is the trend that's going on out there, and I see a lot of people that are working on like childhood trauma right now. So, and it's not just like parents, and it's like really deep set childhood trauma, and it's not a lot of it's subsurface things that you would not normally think that would have created trauma. Like, for example, anger and holding into, rage, tantrums, things like that would have caused you some upset. And so there's a lot of people I'm meeting that are having chronic pain, which is, just pain that doesn't go away with normal healing timeframes. And so they're dealing with a lot of instead of just taking the pain medicine, they're going and they're looking at the emotional body and doing a lot of like somatic healing and repression healing and things like that from childhood. And so I know personally for me, that's kind of, I've been MIA a lot lately because that's what I've been working on. And it's deep work, and sometimes when you're dealing with anger and rage, you're not really wanting to be around a lot of people until you can kind of come out of that. It's just a very personal thing. And but, so that's what I'm noticing when I'm talking to neighbors and other people online.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you both questions. So since we have a new moon, right,
Mhm.
last Thursday, and we had a solar eclipse in Aries, I want to know, how was your week? How was your week? How was
Oh my goodness. Well, let's not forget we're also in a Mercury retrograde.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's add that. And in between eclipse, oh my gosh, it's like everything that it's that ram. It's busting through all of these facades and things that you have about yourself, these realizations you have about yourself, and you realize that how authentic are you being. So I'm finding that this whole time frame is a lot of showing you where you're not being authentic and it's hurting you. So it's truly allowing us to see ourselves in a totally different light right now. So there's a lot of like sadness going on and grief because you're losing pieces of yourself that you were holding on to. But I promise, and I know this, it's tough work, but you will come out of this so much lighter. That's that.
Mm.
period, finding yourself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it
Yes.
has knocked me on my butt.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Jill?
Yeah. For me, it's been a deeper awareness of my thoughts.
Mhm.
It's been a deeper awareness of the grief I carry. My lungs started to speak to me in the eclipse. It's how my anger, my deep-seated anger and my rage is affecting like my liver and my kidneys.
Mhm. Mhm.
Working through like trapped energies and emotions in my hips and my legs. Like it's deep repressed stuff. And it's just like every day it's just like surrendering a little bit more, like going for a walk at lunch and having a little cry, and like
Yeah.
just keep on every day, keep chipping away, at it. Yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming to really feel some of the reality of these emotions and how
Mhm.
that's affecting the body. And so just coming into that kind of awareness of that truth that you cannot, like Maya said, there's no longer denial of where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the new moon. This one was an interesting one, but I know that this new moon was on health, but I didn't know what exactly it was gonna hit me at exactly. But I was really shocked that I had migraines and even like my limbs started acting up. Let's just say that in Sedona I felt it, but then I didn't really think it was gonna go like that. It was gonna go that deep. But for me, it was definitely limbs and because like I had migraines, and whenever time I had migraines I'm like, what's wrong with me now, seriously? Like, what's wrong with me? Or like my limbs start soaring up and it's going over my entire system. I'm like, what's going on? Am I sick? Did I eat something wrong? And they're just like, oh, it's nothing to do with you in the physical, it's all spiritual related. So for me it was like, okay, so we're clearing this. So also the new moon, I'm glad all that happened to me because like it made me also realize the importance of water. Because I decided to ignore my guides and they told me don't skip your drinking water because you will regret it later. And I would just say like whatever happened on the new moon for me, I co-created it. It's like so it's like I co-created it because they taught me a powerful lesson like don't not don't because I realized it's from my dehydration, not drinking water on
Mm.
consistently. So it was like more like the message for me was like time you have to manage your time well, and it's all about time management, giving your body the proper care, and also like not doing too much, giving your body more rest and the proper care that it needs. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
And sinuses. Did you guys have anything with your sinuses?
oh yeah.
I feel like it was so
Yeah.
much like sinus and cheeks and just,
Yeah.
lymph in here. And I know when I'm going through like a sinus attack or anything like that, it's belief systems. Like
Yeah.
for me, it's like, oh, okay, you're and one thing I do know that my sinus stuff started going away the moment I realized how self-critical I was being and complaining all the
Did
time.
you guys? Do you both get during the moon? Like, I think it's like right after the moon, the eclipse. Did you guys get the pineal gland, like, like the
Yes.
peanut all over your
Oh.
eyeball?
It
Last
hurts to
night,
touch.
I got it last night. I had a little bit during the eclipse, but last night, oof, that was wicked last night. It was like
Mm.
last night.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, um, that was a very interesting one. Anyways, Jill, do you want to
Yeah.
recap our series?
Yeah, so we've been the last, I think we're on topic 4 now. So the last 4 weeks, we've been talking about spiritual lifestyle. And people may not really understand what that means. And for us, it's like it integrate your spirituality into your day-to-day life beyond meditation, beyond the 1 hour you dedicate to something spiritual. For example, like you incorporate into your home, into your environment, at work, at home, all your spirituality. You treat food like a spiritual tool. You are very self-aware and introspective of your thoughts and your emotions. Your decisions are spiritual and felt based. It becomes spiritual lifestyle becomes a way of being and a part of who you are, and not a hobby or activity that you do for an hour a day. So that's what kind of we feel the spiritual lifestyle is. And there's a whole realm of aspects to this, and this series is dedicated to exploring these topics every week. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that'll really help people too.
Yeah.
Kind of figure out how to do this, and also balance it with being physical.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Okay, so Jessica, you want to start us off?
Ooh, are we talking about decluttering?
Yes. What is decluttering energy in our body?
All right. Woo. Well, if you're doing any kind of for me, I notice that I need to declutter when I'm having chronic issues. So whether that's like chronic sinus, chronic pain, any kind of aches, pains, cramping, anxiety, depression. So anything that takes you out of the realm of just going in the flow, right? And feeling like you're in the now moment. So it's usually there's some kind of stuck block somewhere. And as we know, we're physical. And so physicality, tends when we have energy. So it tends to get trapped in this dense field, which is completely normal. And that's what's supposed to happen. So if it didn't happen, we would not be physical. We wouldn't feel things. So it gets trapped in these little places in our bodies and even in our thoughts and minds. And so for me, decluttering is about honoring that aspect of ourselves and taking small efforts or steps or even big lifestyle changes to move that energy out. Because if you don't, it's going to stay there and it's just going to keep trying to get your attention and get louder and louder and louder. So for me, yeah, it's just it's a natural, normal part of being alive here.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like for other people, it could also be like, decluttering could also be breaking a cycle, surrendering, sweeping dirt. I call it sweeping dirt from the bullshit system, meaning that like, our body our body's like a magnet. It's always attracting all kinds of vibrations, always connecting to people's energies. And, sometimes we have so much energy around our body and we have to declutter, like sweeping all this dirt away from our body. So decluttering comes in, different ways. I'm going to go to question number 2. And what are the benefits of energy? What are the benefits of decluttering energy from yoga? So, clearing thoughts, less achy body parts, chronic pain, more energy. Other benefits is, being aligned and connecting with yourself. That could be like spiritual, emotional, your subtle bodies, being here physically, spiritually, or just your body, whatever it is. Those are all your bodies. Other benefits is, heavy releases from stuck energy. Anyone who has like kundalini energy or like chakra energy that's just really stuck, yoga also is a benefit from that. It's also moving emotional energy from subtle bodies. When you move your body, you're also moving your mind in the breath, and also resets and grounds the system to bring balance back into the body, opening heart space more and opening self intellect and wisdom. So I tend to get the benefits that most benefits that I get from it is like this old energy leaves my system, and my entire system starts resetting. So that's why it's important to declutter those energies.
Absolutely.
Oh, oh. So question number 3: how can yoga assist me in my process of decluttering energy in my body? Well, all right. So yoga helps release a lot of stuck energy in my body, which is physically, mentally, and spiritually. I At the beginning I did not use yoga because I thought this is well, that's because I had a problem with yoga. I was like, this yoga thing, and I was like, this is like a fake system. Like that's just how I was. That's how we newbies are. This is like fake. This is like dumb. This takes a lot of time. The poses are easy. Like it's this thought. So that's just how I was at the beginning. But when I was more healed, which is like I've done some soul retrievals, I was more like spiritually, healing, and actually went on the journey. And then I started going into yoga. So when I got to that point of yoga helping me, it helped me release, most of it healed a lot of spiritual energy that's really trapped in my system. It helped release a lot of the root. It helped me with my legs a lot. My legs were just always like, not in pain, but it was just always like, my muscles were always super tight. So yoga also, helps release some of those energies from my legs. It also helps me spiritually because it helps opening energies in my body that I was not able to open, but it also helps break down the energies, meaning that, like, one thing is my root chakra, okay? And I know, when you need to declare energy in your root chakra. For me, I know my signs now, maybe not back in the day, but my signs would be like, I don't want to leave the bed. That's my first sign. Second sign, I don't want to leave my room. Third sign, I don't want to leave the house. So that's my sign of root chakra problem. You don't want to leave because the magnet, like for me, it's like I'm pulled to those energies. So those are my signs. Anyways, it also helps, open. What I say is, I also helps with yoga. Also helps assist me in my process, where I notice there's new bodies that form in and new emotions form in. So that's kind of like you know how like we're programmed a certain way and we have emotions a certain way, and we're so used to being angry, or mom and dad taught me how to act this way. So for me, yoga helped me break those pieces of me and declutter that part, but then it replaced me with a different face. So it helped me heal that layer, and I call it a new body, because like this old version of what you used, like your old reality of what you thought, it removed, and a new version comes in, and it's like it's more balanced and more aligned and in peace with me. So
Yeah.
Cool.
what about you, Jessica?
So, well, um, the mind and body is so intrinsically connected that if you are having racing thoughts, or your mind is just all over the place, or you have a lot of intrusive thoughts, a lot of self-criticism, those kinds of things, you need to move your body. And so by moving the body, it helps to move the mind. And even doing chair yoga or gardening or something where you're actually moving can help just even, take the top off the tea kettle, that's steaming, and before it's like boiling over. So for me, yoga has been that. It has been a way for me to connect my mind to my body physically and move whatever's going on up here out through the body. And one thing with yoga that's wonderful, I mean, there's many different types of yoga, but most incorporate a breathing sequence and a breathing flow. And so you're using also the breath to move prana through the body, which is literally almost like you're running, water down a faucet, and it is just kind of decluttering literally everything out of the system. Um, so I do a mix personally. For me, I do a lot of flow yoga, so that's to get the body moving, and afterward move more into like a yin yoga, which is a more feminine type yoga, where you're actually holding poses so that the muscles and the fascia and the ligaments can really stretch. And it is tough to do that if you have a lot of irritation and anger, sadness, like it will all come up. I can't tell you how many times I have bawled my eyes out on my yoga mat. My kids will come in, they're like, "Oh, Mom, are you releasing emotions?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." and I sometimes I have no idea what I'm crying about. It's that powerful, where you don't even need to think about like why are you having these emotions come up. They just do, and you handle them through movement of the body and stretching. So it's really great because we trap so much in the dense fibers of our muscles and nerves even. So being able to yoga, it's like wringing out a washcloth and being able to kind of declutter that way. So it is really helped me out. And like you, when I started, I'm like, whatever, this is for, granolas and people who are like, "Oh, namaste," and then I'm like, "Oh gosh, this is really, really powerful. This is probably one of the most powerful, besides meditating and breath work, that you can do for moving through trauma and pain, chronic pain." So I love it.
Yeah. So how can yoga assist me in my process of decluttering energy in my body? Well, for me, yoga is a bridge. Yoga is a bridge from the physical to the spiritual. And yoga will show you exactly where in your body you need to be decluttered.
Right.
So where there's trapped energy, it will show you through your pain and the stiffness that you feel. And every day will be different. So where one side hurts one day, it may not hurt the next day. So, or it may be the same spot in the body, but a deeper release needs to occur. Like it's more of an emotional, or it's deeper, it's trauma, but accepting where you are every day, where your aches and pains are, and then still doing yoga helps you release the trapped energy. So just coming into that relationship with your body is super important. And so that you just come into acceptance of, this is where I am today. And at the same time, while you're doing that, you're accepting yourself, but you're also not comparing yourself to other yogis. So you're when in a yogi's studio, or you're doing something online, or you're doing some sort of self-judgment, like, "Oh, I can't touch my toes. What's wrong with me?" Yoga is, so you don't compare yourself, because it's your own body, your own emotions stuck there. And it's such a metaphor for this spiritual journey. Your body is your journey. Your body is your spiritual journey. So that's how yoga can assist you in decluttering. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
You hit it right on the head.
It's such a metaphor, right?
Yeah.
Like, just go in. Don't look at anyone else. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Just go in. Yeah.
And it's a great tool to know whether or not, how critical are you being of yourself,
Yes.
And that is one of the biggest causes of chronic pain, is how critical we are, perfectionistic tendencies, and that creates anger. And anger is one of the most densest of the frequencies emotionally. And so a lot of our back, the neck, shoulders, this area up here, legs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. So you will know if it's anger.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica. That was my biggest reason why I started doing yoga. When did I start working at NMAX? One of my employers offered yoga for its staff like 20 years ago. And I thought, well, how progressive is this? I want to check this stuff out, even though I have no idea what it does for me. I'm going to go.
That's smart.
Yeah. And I kind of liked it. I was like, this is the only thing that takes the pain away in my body, in my neck and my shoulders. And of course, at the time, I was sitting at a computer desk, and I just assumed this kind of, all this energy, that like pain I was experiencing in my shoulders and my neck, was computer, and it probably was, but you know, over the years, we all know voice chakra, anger.
Because you're pissed you
Yeah.
have to sit at a desk all day when you want to be moving, when the body's like, I want to be moving. I need to get out, you know, I want to go walk or
Yeah.
somewhere or something. And you're like, oh, I gotta sit here, you know? Oh yeah.
Exactly.
It's amazing. It's like our body, our inner child throws these little fits, and then because it can't tell us, you know, it expresses through the body, and we have to figure it out. It's like, oh, okay, what is going on, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So question 4, what are some simple yoga poses to help declutter heavy and trapped energies? Well, there's pigeon pose.
Mm-hmm.
And that one will require some supports, like some cushions. We call them bolsters in the yoga community, possibly a stack of books or some blocks. And so putting them under your, and you can Google the pigeon pose, but you can put all these supports under your hips and around your knees to support that. So you can hold the pose, like Jessica said, for a long period of time, and breathe and breathe and breathe. And in every breath, you can, you know, mentally say back to yourself, like, I surrender, because with the hips, and that's what pigeon targets, we store a lot of emotions in our hips, like a lot of like shame and rage and anger and guilt. Yeah, the great one. So for another one is hero pose. Oh, my headset's falling off here.
But your crown looks great.
Oh, thank you. It's an energy management tool. Thank you. Hero pose. That one is a good one. You can use blocks again to support your root and your knees and the pressure on your knees. It's great for the root chakra.
And Mula Bandha. That's like the best one for like your Mula Bandha when you're in hero pose and you're like moving your Mula Bandha up and down. You'll feel like all the energy going down into the earth core.
The Mula Bandha is like you're like a perineum, and you're like, it's like when you squeeze the muscles when you pee, you know that one?
Oh yes.
Yes, that's the Mula Bandha. That's what that is. Yeah.
If you're not careful, that'll spasm like for a little while afterward. Have you guys had that?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
right
down my leg.
Yeah.
Right down my leg. Oh yeah, for sure.
I've had that and then like a couple days after, I'm like, why is it still spasming? Like, what is going on? And now I just realized it's because it was activated and moving stuff. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, not to be like too much information, but I'm just curious. Have you guys ever had like a Mula Bandha spasm at work?
If I'm really stressed, yes, I will, because I'll notice I'm tensing up there, and it'll almost be like trying to force, you know, like a relaxation of the muscles so that energy can move through. So that has happened before.
For me, not a spasm, but more of like a activation. It's like, whoa, I have to get up walking around right now. Whoa, I can't sit still right now. I have to go for a walk. So awesome. Yeah. Some other simple poses would be like cow face, if you've got some really flexible knees and hips, or a half lotus, again with the hip release. Another super easy pose for some great release is the forward fold. So that's just when you reach down and touch your toes and kind of keep your legs kind of in a slight bend to the knee, just to keep the pressure off the knee. And that's super amazing for perfection, anger, childhood trauma, runner's pose, or taking it further down by putting your hands on the ground into lizard pose is so great for your hips and your psoas, or your hip flexors. We store a lot again in our hips, so that's another great one. some restorative yoga poses where you can just literally, if you're held in the right position, fall asleep and have a lovely nap. It's a supine bound angle pose. So supine means angle. So you put your bolsters and things underneath there to put your head up on an angle, and then you open your knees out, and you put some support and pillows under your knees, and so you keep that your hips can open, and that's super amazing for your spinal cord and your hips. And then just doing like some basic like rubbing the face, like massaging of the face, doing some like face exercises like face yoga for the eye and the face and really helps with some trapped energies there. Sometimes when I'm driving my car and I'm like literally just like letting loose with my facial expressions to release some of the tension from my work day. And anyone passes me and they're on the road, they're like, what?
I'm doing my exercise right now.
Exactly. So Jessica, question 5, what are other tools to assist if you have no background in yoga and you want to declutter?
Well, I would say breath work. If you can get with someone who can help you with breath work, there's a lot of breath work when you're first starting out can be kind of intense. So working with breath work, you can work with mudras, which is different hand positions. One of my favorite things to do is journal. So that's something, if you can't move, you can't get out, you can't get out, is to journal. And as you're journaling, focusing on your feelings and your emotions, not so much what other people have done, where you're feeling it in your body, and allowing yourself to just write everything out. I have what's called a burn journal, and it is just a pages where I write without stopping, without judgment, without criticizing myself about what I'm talking about. And these are like thoughts that are, you'd never want anyone to know, and feelings and emotions that you're feeling. And because we all have those thoughts, not that we're going to act on them, but they are there. And so a part of, some of the decluttering is allowing yourself to have that and not judging, because the function of the brain is to create thoughts. That's, and the body is to create to create feeling. So, and our emotions are, how we're tying both of those two together. So it's just a part of life. And then afterward, I burn it. I burn the pages. So, and it's very self-releasing. You can do free movement dancing. Any kind of dancing that you can do is great. Tai Chi, Qigong, EFT, tapping is another one where you're tapping on specific meridians to release trapped. There's some really great books and YouTube videos on that. Massage. And I would also say that if you're really dealing with some heavy trauma, is to seek professional help too, to go talk to a therapist, talk to a spiritual life coach, if you don't want to go the traditional therapy route. I have several workbooks that I will get where it's actually using, therapy tools and different somatic, writing. And if I can't speak to like a therapist, I'll do a workbook that is designed, as if you were in a session. So any of those things I think are really great at getting out trapped energy in the body. Forgiveness is the one. So you can do all of this work and get it all out and everything, but the true key is practicing forgiveness. So I do a lot of Ho'oponopono too, which is a Hawaiian tradition. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you, and to really tap into forgiving myself and forgiving anyone else, who may have contributed it, and realizing that I create everything, all the suffering. It's me. So, forgiving yourself too for doing that is huge. Those are some of my things that I would consider.
All right. So we're gonna go to number 6. What are some signs that I am in need of decluttering? So some signs are block or racing thoughts, having depression, sadness, any forms of doubt, constantly angry, it's just repetitive anger going over and over, insecure or overwhelmed emotions or downward spiraling emotions, which is like, processing chronic physical pain, body stress buildup, or when your body doesn't want to leave the bed. I think I said that, or you don't want to leave the bedroom. That's kind of like signs of needing to decluttering. A hard time finding your heart or finding yourself. Just struggling finding compassion again, or because when I know that when I don't have compassion, or I'm just like really angry all the time and not finding your heart space, and I know that, oh, I need to declutter a lot of this energy, all these layers. Other signs are struggling to speak or remain silent, and oh yeah, okay, struggling to speak or remain silent, like you have no voice, and this is because you're picking up everyone's energy, so these energies are stuck like a magnet. Other signs is psychotic mental breakdown, kind of like when you go into the moment where like like you hit your moment like like and it's like you do it not in the healthy way, you do it the wrong way. Like healthy ways, like, okay, mindfulness, release, kind of like you're mindful and this needs to come out, and like it's that release. But then but you need to declutter is when you have, I call it the psychotic mental breakdowns, like something that really triggers you, like and then you kind of throw it at everybody. So that's when you know that you need to start decluttering. I used to do that in the past. I don't do that anymore. So like maybe once in a while, not as much. Maybe
That's
I wouldn't
awesome.
say I wouldn't say it's a level 10. I'll just say it's a 0.5 level. So it starts playing around.
That's awesome.
um, Other signs is like your physical body is tired, and I think everybody is. I always say everyone has this one. The body is really tired. Like
Mhm.
it's not like you're not even physically tired. Your body just like, I'm tired. Ugh. Or
Mhm.
me, I know it's because like I'll wake up like I'm tired. I don't want to get up. That's when I know like that. I know that I need to declutter. Um, Other signs that your legs are tied down to wanting to do nothing. And this is a sign that, energies are all trapped in your feet. It's probably feet and root chakra. You don't want to do anything. It's kind of like when you're on the sofa or you're in for days and you're like, I don't want to do anything. And other signs is like emotionally and sensitively easily, I just say easily triggered. You're just so sensitive, and you're like, or you're either super sensitive or you snap. Like, I when I started seeing myself snapping at my kids, I'm like, ah, you need to work on this. It's like it's like you're probably picking up a little too much energy from work and you're bringing it home. So get rid of the germs. So, right.
Cool. Question 7. What are some thoughts and emotions I may be processing when I'm decluttering with yoga? Well, there's lots. So the first thing is when, there's lots of times in yoga where you're just breathing. You're kind of, you kind of like I wouldn't call it a meditation really, but there's lots of times where you're just breathing and you're settling your system, and you can hear people's brains literally going across the side of the room. um, there is also so overactive thoughts or constant or looping thoughts. That's one, and a good way tool to help with that is some breath work, like alternate nostril breathing to clear out the brain. Like a lot of shame usually comes up, or anger comes up in the body when you're doing stretches. So like super and some people just get, like Jessica said earlier, like if you're holding a pose very long, what first comes up is anger. You're like, why am I doing this? I hate this pose. I just want to get out. I want to hold it for 5 minutes. I don't want to. Oh, then all of a sudden you release. You're like, oh, thank God. Or and another great one for like if you feel your heart beating fast, or you feel like you're shaky a little bit, that's your nervous system. And there's many ways we can be dysregulated in your nervous system, and yoga really calms your parasympathetic nervous system down. And a great one for that is the shavasana. Like literally you take a nap um, at the end of the class, and it's so great because it just helps with that integration. So and of course your nervous system, if you're agitated, or if some stuff has been stirred and you're feeling threatened or unsafe, or you just kind of like, oh, calm down, a little nap. Yeah. How about you, Maya?
Okay, so for me, so what are some thoughts and emotions that I may be processing when decluttering with yoga? So for me, like again, it'll be anger releases, but anger releases, and I experience a lot of energy releasing for the solar plexus, and for me it's like mostly solar plexus and throat, because those are like the energies that my energies are most trapped. And I also experience a lot of muscle tension changing in my body while I'm in a pose, because like it's so weird, because like when I'm doing a pose, and then it's almost as if it's like a spiritual, mental, emotional, and at the same time physically it's all releasing at the same time. So for example is like my feet. I notice like when I work on my feet and when I'm doing poses for my feet, and I could be like, oh, why am I doing this? It's so dumb. Like your thoughts will raise, your emotions will raise. Like, this is dumb. When are we almost done yet? Or I get like you get frustrated, but then it releases. Sometimes it does release while you're in that frustration, and sometimes you stop because you're frustrated. But then even when you stop and you feel all that frustration, and then you realize I'm impatient. like you, like
Yeah.
and also like yoga is also a good tool to actually show you like it shows you all your wounds also. Like when for example, when I was doing tree pose, I hated it. Like I hated it because I was like, because you have to stand and you have to balance yourself. It's like in one leg, and you have to put your leg a certain way, and you can't put it on the knee on the side. So I could put it on the knee. Like, this is dumb. Like, and it was like, you're not getting results because you're putting your leg on the knee. You need to hit like one of the energy points. So then I was like frustrated and I was impatient. But then I was like, how come I'm not getting results? And then, my guys are like, because you're impatient, because you're frustrated and impatient, and you don't want to hold a pose. So sometimes your wounds do show you your truth about yourself. Like, I'm impatient. And again, like, at the beginning of yoga, when most people start out, we're all angry. We're short tempered. We're all short tempered. And over a period of time, it's not like that our body just decides to, be aligned. It's because our emotions, our mentality is slowly shifting as our physical body is shifting. So um anyway, so for me, I experienced like a lot of releases, and sometimes I release emotional releases. Sometimes when I work on hips, okay, the one that I'm working is like cow face.
Mm,
At the beginning when I was doing it, whoa, that was a struggle. It's like that was a
yeah.
real struggle. But
Mhm.
now it's more looser, and it took me a long time to loosen that, those hips. And it was like, oh, like the body's nice because like your body starts forming with the hips. But then I was like, oh, I'm not holding as much tension. I'm not holding a lot of rage. I feel free. Like I feel like there's a part of me that is free. That's kind of like an example is like, your muscle tensions starts disappearing over a period of time. And when I feel like my muscle tension is still tight there, and then I just tell myself, you still got stuff. You still got shit right there, and you, you still, and I said, you still got shit right there. You still have something to let go. So, anyways, that's me on what are some thoughts and emotions that I may be processing, or you may be
Mhm.
processing when you're decluttering with yoga.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go to question number 8. And this is our last question. How long can healing take? So there is no time limit when it comes to healing. Um, when it's ready, then your body is ready to leave. There could be layers, and you can complete one layer, then you have more layers. Yoga is so to see it also with yoga. Yoga is a tool and it helps us process and prevent and regulate. And it's not a silver bullet, meaning that yoga is not the answer to escape. I think people use yoga to escape like most of the problems because they believe that yoga is the answer to escape. But truly, yoga is not for us to escape. Yoga is a tool to assist us, healing, assist us releasing, assist energies that are trapped in our body. It helps us with chronic pain and processing because sometimes like we have stuck energies in our body and we're like we can't release it on a physical level, but with yoga poses because it has a lot of energy points and it activates many pieces of our body, and we're in a certain pose that helps release that. It's another, like, again, another tool for us to release things. So
Yeah. Awesome. What a great that's a great set. Awesome.
all right, so with yoga, so Jill, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
What is your favorite yoga pose on releasing or decluttering or releasing?
Oh, I'm releasing and decluttering. I gotta say, I guess it depends on what I'm clearing. But right now, I'm loving pigeon. That's why I used it as my example. But I've also loved triangle pose. Like it just makes me feel so good when I'm in that pose. I don't know. I just feel like I feel I'm doing, it's like a light language for the body. Like I just feel like so expansive. It just makes me smile. I feel like my body's smiling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. Okay, so I'm gonna tell a pose, and people are just gonna look at me funny. My favorite releasing pose is mountain pose.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm very simple. Like it's because it's not like standing. You know how you're in mountain pose and you raise your arms up.
Yeah.
That is my favorite pose. Just standing up and raising my arms, and I just like being in that pose. And I think that is my favorite releasing pose. I'm like, everyone could do hardcore yoga, warrior
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I like mountain pose, and I like it because it releases all like my stress from my shoulders and into like
Yeah.
my spinal cord. So that's my favorite pose.
Yeah, I can see that. And with mountain pose, you have to kind of like tuck your hips forward. You can't be arching your back,
Yeah,
so your spine needs to be straight. And so yeah, so you can have that release, like you
yeah,
said.
yeah,
So
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
It's a very technical pose in its simplicity, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. All right, so today I'm going to be doing a light language activation. I will be doing decluttering, headspace, healing activation. So, Daragota Maragotia Ishinikaramiirti. Decluttering our headspace. We are decluttering all these heaviness in our headspace, removing, and we're going to be like decluttering, detoxing, removing toxic stuff in our headspace that no longer aligns with us. We clear, we clear, we clear, we clearing all the heaviness in the headspace, decluttering all the heaviness in the headspace. We let go, we let go, we surrender and let go, and we cutting all these cords with all these heaviness in our headspace that are no longer aligned with us. And clearing it from the headspace, and we clear it from our ears, clearing it from the left ear, clearing it from the right ear. We're cutting energetic cords. We're cutting energetic cords to our ears because our ears are connected to our headspace, cutting all energetic cords with any spiritual attachments or energy attachments into our headspace. Amarokote, we declutter, and we clear the space in our head. We clear, and we let go. Marakote, letting go of the old. Marikete, that is no longer aligned with us. Mirikashinakataya and Miriketiara Karina. We clear, and we let go. And we open a space of clarity, seeing things clearly for what it is. Marukoti, opening clarity into our head space, seeing things for what it is, being more focused. Arakoti, clearing the ear space and bring more clarity into the ears. Clarity. Marakati yarashini, marakoti mariketi, arakusunukoti marakashini kirikaparia. We open that space into our heart space also as we're decluttering stuff in our head space. We clear also this clutter in our heart space. Marukoti ni narukoti, marukoti yana maruki, declaring old stuff in the heart space and into our voice. Marukoti arishniki, arakia, we clear, we clear. And then we end our transmission or activation. Marukoti, arakoti. All right.
Beautiful, Maya. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about our retreat in Canada.
Yeah. Maya, tell us all about it.
So I'm going to tell everyone that I'm really excited to go to Canada and to our Healing with Us retreat. Be me, Jill, Desiree, Elianandro. So we've been really working hard on our itinerary, just organizing everything. I think today we started doing some work on it. And I'm just saying, like, there's just so much, like, just coming there. Anyone who signs up, there's just so much that we're putting out there for you. So there's going to be some, like, we have some yoga. We're doing some energy work. So we have some energy group healing. We're going to be outdoors also. We have some other, activities that are planned for there. So please join us in our retreat. It is 4 days for our retreat, and it's also in, I forgot, like Vendet, yeah, Vendet, like Vendet Lake, which is like in Canada. So
Yeah, it's we were talking today in our planning session about the potency of the energy there. So it's off grid. There's no cell phone communication, but that's the beauty of it. Like, that is the beauty of it. And we're going to be creating this like sacred container before everyone comes. And then the energy of the land is just going to like really, really support us and love us and soften us and allow us to just gently surrender what we don't need anymore. Because the solstice is that transition. It's like there's like a death rebirth cycle where you leave the old behind and you birth something new. And it's just, and that the whole itinerary or the curriculum that we're creating and then the energies of the land is just going to be so amazing. I'm really super pumped. Like, talking about it today, I was like, I could start to feel it and see it. I was like, whoa, yeah, that's going to be awesome.
it's like a really, also, like, it's a really good time, because of the solstice and the energies that's going to be around this solstice. So I would just say this retreat is for you if you're ready to end old cycle or old you, and you're just like, you know what, I'm done with being this ugly me, and I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to start new me. And because you have all these facilitators to assist you, they can also guide you, give you some guidance of, like, clearing stuff out, how to shield properly, how to assist you, how to, work with your guides. I will be there to support people because I love telling people about, like, how the spiritual journey is. So, and I know Jill, she's been doing a lot of, shamanic in her past also. So feel free to join us at a retreat. So
Yeah, we hope to see you there.
all right. All right. So we will see what we will see you next Wednesday. And we will be talking about removing toxicity and negative energy. So this is all about negative energy, removing toxic energy. This is in different environments. So just not like at home, work. This is like and kind of like scenarios what you could do. Like I get this a lot where people like, well, I'm at work. Can I even do energy healing? Like, yeah, you can repel energy. I was like, okay, so your boss is yelling at you because he's like flustered with all these energies in the room. What do? You clear the energy. Like, someone's got to do it. If you don't want it, if you don't want the energy to affect you, yeah, someone's got to do it. I do that. If I know, like, I've been in places, just like heads up, I've been in places where there's like, okay, like family events, and how your family is like, oh, someone is gonna get crazy and they're gonna get super high, and someone is gonna, like, my family's crazy, so I don't know how other people they're gonna drink and they're gonna get crazy and they're gonna say all these tons of stuff at each other, and then they're gonna like hurt each other. So for me, it's like, what do you do in that scenario? Of course, clearing space. Kind of like we clear these energy through time and space. Someone, if they don't do it, then you clear that space. That's your family. I'm creating a safe space. So next week is all about negative energy, toxic energy. We're even going to talk about toxic people. Like, what do we do in those type of situation with our spiritual lifestyle series. So join us next week.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. We'll see you